with Lose My Breath. But I reckon Eminem might just find himself on top of the lot with Lose It. As well as that, we've got entries from Jamelia and Usher. It's going to be a massive UK Top 40. Make sure you don't miss it. And if that isn't enough, we also want to give you some UK Top 40 goodies. All you need to do is tell us, where do you think Destiny's Child will chart this week? OK, all you need to do is text UK Top and your guess to 62222. That's 62222. Where do you reckon? Top 20, top 10, or maybe even number 1? It's up to you. If you get it right, we'll send you loads of UK Top 40 goodies. That is your lot from me here on CBBC1 today, but I will be back over on CBBC2 from 6 o'clock with all your favourites. Have a lovely Saturday. I'll see you tomorrow.
Follow where the river flows, and she shall tell you all she knows.
Mystery and magic are all around, with both good and evil to be found. But not for her the time to rest, as Marnie continues in her quest.
Power is a very potent drug. Trust your imagination.
Believe. Shoebox Zoo continues Tuesday at 4:35 on CBBC1.
Saturday morning choices for you here on BBC1 after the news, including tomorrow's Manchester derby. Football Focus previews the weekend fixtures. It's Love and War with Tracy Beaker over on the CBBC channel. And tune in to Radio 5 Live as Des Lynam meets David Beckham.
Kyoto Protocol. What is that? The new Tom Clancy?
It's the International Treaty on Climate Change. They set it up in '97.
God, that's... Who cares about global warming? I mean, at least I don't need to go abroad for decent weather.
It's just as well you went to the Maldives when you did, because in another 100 years they're going to be underwater.
Is that right?
But the whole Kyoto thing collapsed when the Americans pulled out. So what is the point?
The Russians signed up in September, so hopefully everything will be back on track. How do you know all of this, Sue?
According to the school's inspectorate room.
Oh, you know, just got my finger on the red button.
You're better informed with the world's first interactive news bulletin, only from the BBC, giving you a background briefing on the day's main stories. BBC 10 o'clock News Extra. This service is available to digital viewers on cable, satellite, and now Freeview. To find out more, you can call 08700 10 10 10.
Looking ahead to the weekend action, all the match speculation with Football Focus in 10 minutes after the lunchtime news, now on BBC1 with Jane Hill.
Good afternoon. More than 30 people are thought to have been killed and dozens injured in a series of attacks by insurgents in Iraq. At least 4 car bombs exploded and a number of police stations were hit in the city of Samarra. Today's violence comes as a full-scale assault by US and Iraqi troops on Fallujah looks increasingly imminent. Our correspondent, Paul Wood, is with the US Marines at their camp outside Fallujah and has just sent this report.
US ground forces fighting in the outskirts of Fallujah. These were the biggest military operations since the Marines began steadily tightening their noose on the insurgents in the city. This attack was a feint designed to draw out the insurgents and reveal new targets for aircraft and artillery. The results of the attack were apparent after first light. The Marines say they destroyed 3 barricaded fighting positions, an anti-aircraft weapon and a weapons cache. Residents of Fallujah accused them of hitting civilian targets. This hospital was bombed twice from the air, he says. The second time it was destroyed. It's used by women and children, not terrorists. This is unjust. But the Marines say they have been training intensively, not just to kill or capture insurgents, but also to keep civilian casualties at a minimum. For these young troops, it's a chance for open combat against an enemy which, frustratingly, never shows itself.
The Marines that I've had wounded and killed over the past 5 months have been by a faceless enemy. And again, like I said, The enemy has got a face. He's called Satan, and he's in blue. And we're going to destroy it.
With all the firepower behind me, the eventual military victory in Fallujah is not in doubt. The question is, will the insurgents stay and fight, or will they simply melt away? At the very least, though, US Marine officers say they will deny a safe haven to groups they call terrorists. Paul Wood, BBC News, with the US Marines near Fallujah.
Here, Prince Charles has been visiting families of Black Watch soldiers deployed in central Iraq. The visit to the regimental base in Wiltshire comes after 3 soldiers were killed on Thursday in a suicide bomb attack. Daniel Bircher reports.
Arriving at the barracks of the Black Watch, the Royal Highland Regiment, Prince Charles, its Colonel-in-Chief. A visit at a time of great pain for the Black Watch, 3 of its soldiers killed in Iraq. This visit was planned before the tragic news of those deaths, Prince Charles wanting to show his support for the soldiers and their families. He has been here before, ahead of the deployment of the Black Watch to Iraq, but no one could have known then the role they would be asked to take on. During the visit, words of support and comfort, meetings with relatives. 200 Black Watch families live at the base, anxious about those serving in Iraq, eager for any news and watching developments closely. Many had expected casualties, but none of that makes this any easier. Prince Charles hoping that his visit here can help those fearing what will happen next, and those trying to come to terms with what has happened in Iraq.
Here at the Garrison Church, more floral tributes today to the men who lost their lives and messages of sympathy for their families from a community that grieves with them. Daniel Bircher, BBC News, Warminster.
Well, let's get the latest on the situation on the ground in Iraq. Claire Marshall is in the Iraqi capital. Claire, bring us up to date with the situation regarding Samarra, first of all.
Well, we are hearing from the Iraqi Defence Ministry that there are actually still clashes going on in Samarra at the moment. This comes after a morning of bombings in which almost 40 people are thought to have lost their lives. It shows that these insurgents here are getting increasingly sophisticated. It was a very well-coordinated attack this morning.
And are we expecting more of this sort of thing as that attack on Fallujah appears to get closer?
Yes, it was expected, it was predictable. It's understood that the militants who've carried out these attacks in Samarra are in cahoots with the people currently holed up in Fallujah. What people in Iraq here want more than anything is security and stability. Will this anticipated assault on Fallujah bring this? Judging from these attacks this morning, it does seem that the insurgency has already spread beyond Fallujah, so while it might mean a territorial gain, it by no means means incapacitating completely that these rebel groups in terms of their ability to carry out attacks.
Claire Marshall in Baghdad, thank you. Palestinian officials are holding talks in Gaza with armed factions, including Hamas and Islamic Jihad, aimed at maintaining calm if Yasser Arafat dies. The Palestinian leader remains in a coma in a military hospital near Paris, where aides have described his condition as critical. The National Lottery is celebrating its 10th birthday with 150 venues around the country, staging events to mark the occasion. The main celebrations are at the Tate Modern Gallery in London. 7 out of 10 adults play the lottery regularly, raising more than £16 billion for good causes. That's just about it for now. There are bulletins every hour, of course, over on BBC News 24. I'll be back with the latest here on BBC One at 5:20. Bye-bye for now.
Hello there. If you say the fireworks party for this weekend, you might have a bit of trouble getting the bonfire going this evening because it is going to be pretty dull, damp and dreary for most of us through this weekend. Just a few brighter spots, but they'll be very few and far between. In fact, it's been like this in Manchester all day so far. It's not going to get much better through the afternoon and evening with more rain to come. And that cloud's all sitting down across the high ground as well. So if you're heading over the higher level routes across the Pennines and southern Scotland particularly, you could well find some fog on your journey through today, through tonight and probably into tomorrow as well. I mentioned there could be some brightness. Aberdeen isn't faring too badly. The sun just about breaking through there. I think that's about the best we're going to get anywhere, though, during today. But it is mainly eastern Scotland, eastern parts of England that'll see the best of any drier, brighter weather that's going through the rest of the day. Always rain around, though, for western Scotland, running down across the Isle of Man into the north of Wales, Manchester area as well, and from time to time through the Midlands and the southwest. Northern Ireland as well, I think patchy rain across eastern areas, not too bad across in the west. So will they, won't they, with the roof at the Millennium Stadium? Well, it's touch and go whether we will get some rain, but if we do, it's going to be fairly light and patchy. And fingers crossed, I think it should just about stay dry at Murrayfield for the Scotland-Australia game. And you can catch both those games, of course, on BBC television. One bright spot, it is at least mild today. Temperatures between 11 and 13 degrees typically. Just Shetland that's a little bit different, rather chilly here after a cold night, but at least there is some brightness coming through. Into tonight, though, well, we've still got that cloud, we've still got that patchy rain across more western parts of the UK for the fireworks this evening. Some of the rain tending to ease off a bit as we go through the night, but with all that cloud, it's going to stay very mild. Temperatures holding well up right across the UK. Tomorrow, though, lots of cloud around once again. I think tomorrow, though, the greatest chance of rain probably across Lincolnshire to start with, through the East Midlands, moving down across East Anglia and the South East as we go through the afternoon. Could be the odd heavier burst of rain, possibly. Then behind it, still lots of cloud around, particularly for western coasts and hills, but a glimmer of brightness, I think, coming into the east of any high ground. So eastern Scotland, down through Northumberland, towards the Vale of York, perhaps Lincolnshire, looking a little brighter for the afternoon. And again, those temperatures reasonably mild, between 11 and 13, perhaps even 14 degrees in some brighter spots. If you want sunshine, though, well, head across to the States, because here we're looking at clear skies across the USA, and in fact, ideal conditions for the New York Marathon. You can follow that on BBC1 during tomorrow. And that's your weather. Bye-bye.
Go on, fetch! Boxer? Oh, what's that then, Boxer? Oh, tasty.
Did he do everything?
He does now.
Perhaps you can teach an old dog new tricks. I thought we were going to have to get a new telly.
Oh, no, he's fine. I fixed him up with the 6 extra BBC channels. You can get them on cable, satellite, or I got in Freeview. Oh, around £50. No subscription. You get this box. I just plugged it in and he was away. 30 channels in all. Oi, sit.
Call 08700 10 10 10 or visit your local retailer or supplier.
Wales tackle the recently crowned Tri-Nations champions. South Africa in the first of the autumn internationals. Live rugby with Grandstand from 1 o'clock here on BBC1.